Using your time machine, you put in the year 2003, and you head back to the good old days when Bionicle was still on the shelves. Now, you're able to bring back 5 sets with you to the present day. So which 5 are you gonna pick? Well, here's my top 5, and let's see if that aligns with yours. Now, the first set that I'll be taking back with me to the present day, the number 5 spot on today's list, it goes to Bohrok Kull. Alright, let me tell you a little story about this set, this elusive set. When I was but a wee lad, I wanted the Bohrok Kull. I remember seeing them in the LEGO magazines and thinking, oh my god, these are amazing. This is such a cool upgrade from the original Bohrok sets. You know, now they've got cool silver weapons, amazing silver heads with this awesome print on the top. This is the coolest thing ever. But as a kid, living in Australia, or as a kid more specifically living in Perth, the most isolated capital city in the world, we never got the Bohrok Kull. Well, if we did, they sold out immediately and I never saw them ever and we never restocked ever. But I'm pretty certain we never ever got them. But thankfully, that year, my family and I, we went to Disneyland in Orlando, Florida. And while we were there, I made it my mission to find the Bohrok Kull. If I couldn't get them back home, I'd get them all here. I ended up finding every single one except for 2 of them. One of those 2 was Bohrok Kull. And I searched everywhere, man, but I just couldn't find them. I remember me and my mum, we were actively looking everywhere we could. I remember standing in Disney World on the last day we were in Florida and we were like, well, I don't know what to do. I guess we just can't find them. But it stung extra hard because look at Bohrok Kull. What an amazing character. Those aquatic fin-like weapons in silver, the striking trans-orange eyes, the sick-looking head pattern, blue and silver, what a great color scheme. This was such a good set. And man, if I had a time machine, I would go back to my younger self, I would physically hand him a Bohrok Kull. I'd probably create some sort of time paradox and destroy the space-time continuum doing that, but it would be worth it. So yeah man, finally being able to own this set, which I still don't own today, that would be pretty cool. I said there were 2 that I couldn't pick up while I was in America. I'll let you know the other one a little later in the video, so stay tuned for that one. Alrighty, up next in the number 4 spot, we have a true classic. It's Takua and Puku. So this was a character as well as a creature that appeared pretty heavily in the Bionicle Mask of Light movie. I never had this set as a kid and I remember wanting it, but you know, certainly something that I did a lot back then with the 2003 toys. My brother and me, we would play with our Bionicles. We'd try and like recreate the movie with the toys. But that was a little difficult given that Takua is essentially the main character and Puku is featured pretty prominently in the film. Yeah, we improvised, we made our own little Takua and a little Puku. But still, I remember looking at this set and really wanting it, especially for Takua. He was just such a fun character in the Mask of Light movie. And then the fact that he later became Takanuva, that made him so cool. And also, this set is a giant crab that a Matoran can ride on the back of. What more could you possibly want out of a LEGO set? You know, I always thought that the cute mouth and the big posable eye stalks, that was the best part of this set. So cute. And looking at it now, the pieces in this are awesome. Lots of dark orange, lots of old brown, fantastic. Yeah, this is a lovely set, and actually I still don't own this set even today. Hopefully I can pick it up soon. Or I go back in time and I pick it up mint and fresh on the shelves. Number 3, this belongs to a fantastic set. It's Makuta Pterodax. I mean, I really can't do this list and not include the main villain of the Bionicle storyline. And honestly, I think this set still holds up despite the fact that it's a bit of an older set now. The way this set uses a lot of Rahkshi back pieces on the legs and the torso, combine that with the gunmetal Nuva armor pieces. It all looks so good. Makuta having this wonderful sleek and shiny armor, it's just so fitting, especially for his species. If we look up the Makuta species on the wiki, they describe them as, quote, shapeshifters by nature. And there's something about this mask and the aesthetic of all of this armor that totally fits a shapeshifter. Sleek, smooth, liquid-like armor, it just checks out. Now I mentioned that mask before. The fact that this mask has 2 separate sides to it, I mean that's great for mocking potential, but that also works for a shape-shifting character. Although I believe the purpose of it being double-sided was so that it looked a little bit more accurate to how Makuta's mask looks in the Mask of Light movie, which makes sense, especially since that movie came out this year. And man, looking at this mask again, it really is one of the most beautiful masks that we ever got. You know, if I ever did a top 10 best Bionicle masks, this would easily be on that list. Maybe I should do that video, that'd be cool. Now, I also love this set because it came with 2 silver Takanuva masks, and that was a really clever idea to use them as hands and fingers. And hey, if you wanted to build mocks, you could take those off, and now you've got 2 silver Takanuva masks. Fantastic. Now look dude, I think the LEGO designers cooked when they were doing this design. It's the perfect way to personify the biggest bad guy there was in the Bionicle story. Makuta looks phenomenal. Moving over to the number 2 spot, this one means a lot to me actually. This is a Rahkshi and it's Bohrok. So when this set came out, it was roughly the same time as this LEGO event that was held every year here in Perth. We have a larger department store in the city of Perth, which is called Maya. And so they would hold this sort of like LEGO exhibition. And it was just this big event that showcased all the new toys that were coming out, more specifically the new LEGO products that were coming out. And it was cool. They had all these interesting new displays, large statues, cool LEGO mocks behind glass, and they'd unveil all the new toys. You'd have that childhood dream of just a fully stocked shelf filled with all of the brand new toys. Now, my family and I, we had a tradition of going to this event. It was open to the public. And, well, this image I'm showing here, this isn't actually what the event looked like. This is just a sort of similar thing that I found online. This is also for the wrong year anyway, but still, I don't have any photos of that event. I wish I did. If anyone who happens to live in Perth or was there for that event, or I don't know, maybe they held that event in other states, let me know. I'd love to finally somehow get images of that event because got a lot of good memories with that exhibition thing. Would love to relive them with images. Anyway, while I was there, my parents were saying that I could buy one toy. And I remember being very excited for the new Rahkshi sets that were coming out, so I picked up Bohrok. Then I remember going home later that evening and building him. It was a lot of fun. So, you know, whenever I see this set, I think of the good times that I spent at that really interesting LEGO exhibition. And also, let's face it, the Rahkshi were some of the coolest Bionicle characters and sets that were ever made. Their wonderful snake or lizard-like appearance, the striking silhouette of their hunched backs, the menacing spikes, the iconic staves, the awesome faces, they were the coolest. And still to this day, people love Rahkshi. There's a lot of people out there that love making Rahkshi mocks, and you see those Rahkshi pieces on pretty much every mock these days. It's good stuff. But yeah, my favorite had to be Bohrok. That interesting pearl green color scheme with some old dark gray, just the best. And not for nothing, this character also poisoned Tahu in the Bionicle Mask of Light movie. That was an impressive feat back in the day. I remember looking at Bohrok and being like, man, you don't mess with this guy. Okay, before we get to number 1, let's do a few honorable mentions. The first one here, it goes to the Fuku Spider. It's just a tiny little poly bag and a rather simple little build, but is this set not the most adorable thing you've ever seen? The aesthetic of like classic early 2000s Rahi animals like this, it's just brilliant. There's so much charm to them. They're like the perfect balance of really simple designs, but also very, very effective character design that's achieved through very minimal amounts of pieces. Which is a skill all in itself, and this is a shining example of how good that can look. I mean, look at him and his cute little posable head. The next honorable mention, we're going to talk a little bit about Bohrok Carl. So this was the other Bohrok that I never was able to get back when I was in America, and I still don't own today. Hopefully I can own this set one day. But still, hey, I love this set. That beautiful color scheme, silver and old brown, mixing that in with those beautiful trans green eyes, wonderful. I also love Hafu. Now, this is one of the Matoran that was released alongside a bunch of other boxed Matoran sets back in 2003. Now, all of these Matoran, I thought they were fantastic. I love the way that their bodies were built, they were so posable. I think this was the best Matoran like body frame that they ever made. Now, all of them were great. They all had wonderful color schemes, cool masks, great characters. But there was something about Hafu that just really stood out from everyone else. I think it was that nice tan and black color scheme, the awesome black Ruru mask, one of the coolest masks ever. I don't know, man, he just looks phenomenal. This was my favorite Matoran of the bunch, and I think he still is today. Whenever I look at him, I smile and I think of the good old days of playing with him as a kid. Up next is another Bohrok Carl. This is a set I did get. This is Bohrok Carl. Now, he was my favorite out of all of the Bohrok Carl. Something about that green and silver color scheme, it's just really freaking cool. And also the pincer weapons, they're a pretty underrated and cool piece. Now look, I also do like Tarnok Carl. He was pretty cool, but dude, Bohrok Carl, he takes the spot as my favorite Bohrok. You know what, actually, I think it was this promo image. I remember looking at this image when I was just a kid and I had this set and I thought, oh, he's so cool. Look at that little head tilt as he's like launching his head forward. This dude has attitude. And something about that, it just hooked me, man. And the final honorable mention now, it goes to Jala and Guku. Now, I mean, this bird looks like a freaking X-Wing with its 4 wings. I really could just stop talking about this right there. That concept alone is perfection. But you know, I remember as a kid, I was very excited by the lovely Keat Orange Kopaka blade sword used for the beak of this bird. And also the dark orange Liwa blades. Both of those were really exciting recolors, especially for me as a kid. They're still exciting today though. Now the entire color scheme of this bird is actually really lovely. The design's great, and I remember as a kid being so excited because this came with Jala, and he had that really awesome posable Matoran body design. Yeah, I really liked Jala, just because he was yellow and he had that awesome yellow Howl mask. Both of those things I really enjoyed as a kid. Yeah, great Matoran, great Rahi, perfect set. Alright, that's it for the honorable mentions. That's it from spots 5 to 2. What's in the number 1 spot? Well, it belongs to a set that it probably makes sense it's here. It's Takanuva, Tower of Light. I mean, come on, a gold armored 7th Tower? Knowing nothing else about the character, the look and feel of this is just so special. I remember buying this set and it felt like a religious experience. It felt like an honor to build him. The character, the toy, the pieces, everything felt legendary. The set also comes with one of my first very rare masks that I ever owned, and that is the glittery and beautiful Mask of Light. Such a great looking piece, and I believe that this color of this mask, it is an exclusive color that only came on this one piece. Very pretty color though, isn't it? Plus Takanuva came with this rad speeder bike, and how wonderful is this? Yeah, him riding on this feels like he's fresh out of Star Wars or, the movie Akira. And actually, looking at the speeder bike design today, it's really utilizing some older pieces in some very, very clever ways. Using all those Rahkshi back elements, one as a chair, the other as just like the shell of a bike. It looks great. Then you got some Liwanuva blades for landing gear. It's a good design. And with Takanuva being the main hero of the Bionicle Mask of Light movie, yeah, it made this set feel incredible to own. I just thought he was so freaking cool, man. And Takanuva's still great, easily one of my favorite Toa. So yeah, that's my number 1 pick. So what'd you think of those picks? Did they line up with your picks, or do you think you have some better picks in mind from the year 2003? I'd love to hear what your top 5 picks are in the comments below. Thanks so much guys, happy building, and bye for now.